What I got into was X-ray weapons,
Okay.
and I know
That seems like a big jump.
It sounds like it sounds insane.
Some kind of exotic nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
That
is
seems like a
nuts.
Roseanne thing to do.
That she does.
She's nuts.
Ideal and
She
exotic
admits
nut.
it. All of a sudden, try that in a small town is the shittiest song I've ever heard in the last
You hate
5
that
years.
song. I think you've brought it up in
Fucking
each
hate
of the
it.
last 5 episodes.
Google wants to build a fucking AI-run smart city, and they're
Oh, is it-
going to do this. I promise you.
Welcome to Universal Confusion Podcast, episode 16. We're here today. Aaron, what should our viewers and listeners be doing right now?
Going to YouTube, subscribing to our channel, click notifications to get updates when we upload content, which would be what?
That's where we post all of our content. You get new shorts every Tuesday and Thursday, and a brand new full podcast every single Friday. Dale, where else can they find us?
Check us out at Samsung, Amazon. Follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok. If you're into that stuff. And let's get into this.
Let's get into this.
We have guest host.
We do have a guest host we should
Danielle.
mention. Yes, Danielle, kind enough to be here.
Justin's having a sex change.
Finally.
It'll be
About time.
We're figuring it's going to take about 2 episodes for him to recover, so we'll just have to see how that goes. We'll all be surprised.
not that surprised.
We're not that
So
surprised.
it's finally fully transitioned to a male.
Touche, my good friend. So today's episode, I think it's only fitting, and I think we're going to have a hard time coming up with any way that this is going to be funny or hilarious for anyone. Just full disclosure for all of you YouTube people out
This
there.
might not be that funny.
It's kind of sad, to be honest. Huge wildfires in Hawaii, huge loss of life. I think it's something we got to get into and we got to talk about because there's a lot of news coming out. There's a lot of conspiracies swirling around, and I think we're gonna absolutely have our answers by the end of this, no doubt.
Dale's definitely done more homework than me. So
I've looked into some things. It's very interesting.
Yep.
It is very complicated.
I was looking in, but you've looked more. So.
The official story is power lines on some trees, and I have seen some pictures with some stuff like that. I just, as a rational human being, have questions as far as how the fire burned, what it didn't burn, which was interesting.
Right.
And, how that's even possible. And I'm not a frickin' forensic specialist or some shit where,
Right.
I think I know how fires
How this
work
works.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I am a bit of a pyro and have burned quite a bit of shit. So I got some questions on how that went down.
No, but you're right. So the official story is high winds due to an incoming hurricane or nearby hurricane knocked some power lines down, lit some stuff on fire. One thing I heard was that at one point in time the fire was traveling at like 70 or 80 miles an hour, which according to that story explains a lot of the loss of life because you just can't get out. I mean, it's a freight train coming down the tracks. Yeah. Another thing I had heard, and this was just this morning, and again, these are official news reports that I'm saying, is that I guess they have to do some type of water management on Hawaii.
Oh, right about that one.
You can't just go using sprinklers.
Correct.
And that somebody around there had asked for water, and whoever's in charge of that had to go clear it with the farmers.
Something of
And
that
that
nature.
took hours, and by then it was too late.
7 hours is what I heard.
Yeah. Too bad Hawaii's not surrounded by water.
That would be much easier
That
if it
make a
was.
Instead of being in the desert that it's in.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Right.
Well, they
So-
shut the water off to the people.
Right. Which
Yeah.
doesn't
I heard dry hydrants.
Yeah.
really. I see.
Yeah.
People
I
were
heard
out
hear
there
that.
hosing off what they could, and the water just stopped.
I'm sure when
How do you
It-
stop the water utility?
in the middle of a fire.
Yeah.
I think that's a valid question. I know
That's
there's multiple lawsuits that have
Very
been filed.
suspect.
Yes.
But no, let's get into it. I know Dale and Danielle, you've both done quite a bit of research, far more than me and Aaron. Me and Aaron are more just what we think, and because I think
Which no
Aaron's
one cares
CNN or
about.
something. He follows the news quite rapidly.
Not really.
No, but so I want to get into some of the more complicated, at this point, conspiracies. But as we all know about conspiracies, Aaron, what's your famous line about conspiracies?
6 to 8 weeks.
The difference between truth
That's
and
the truth line.
conspiracy
Yeah,
is
yeah.
6 to 8 weeks. So I think things will come out.
Well, I think Danielle should probably go ahead and start that off because she really delved into the conspiracy theorist, and then I kind of took and did some scientific research on that edge.
Perfect.
And
Perfect.
makes me wonder.
Okay, let's do that.
So what? Because I think you had mentioned some things to me that kind of sparked my interest in it.
Right. Kind of more fact than anything first. is
Sure.
that this was the deadliest fire in our country.
U.S. history.
Yeah, in U.S. history in 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You figure the population of Lahaina is only 12,000 people.
Right.
There's 114 dead, and there's still over 1,000 people missing.
114 so far.
Yes.
Found. Yeah.
But you figure a tenth of your population is gone.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's wild. Yeah.
Something like that. And
Well, again, which is why I said we're gonna have a hard time making this one funny.
yeah,
It's just sad, is what it is.
Oh, they destroyed a community.
everything's gone.
Yep.
How do you rebuild something that's all gone when you're on limited resources
Mhm.
on
Ask
top of
Oprah.
everything else? Yeah, ask Oprah. She'd know. She bought
How are you going to rebuild Oprah?
what, 1 million, I think,
With the AI
acres?
city.
But that's another story.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I guess at least they have taken care of some of the people in Lahaina, and they've opened up the hotels to them. That doesn't make up for their homes.
Of course. Yep.
And their fear is people are going to come in and take their land.
Right.
These are land rich people. They're not money rich. They have the land. That's where they are born and raised and generationally.
Yeah.
And the funny part is there's only about 10.5% of Lahaina is native to Hawaii.
Hawaii. Right. Actual native Hawaiians.
Yeah. And
Yep.
they want to preserve that land. And I mean, I've done a lot of my research basically just on TikTok and things like that. But watching real people's explanation of what happened and how their land has been stole from them time and time and time again.
Right. Well, okay, but hold on one sec, 'cause I just want to back up one sec. You said you did a lot of your research on TikTok. I want to make it clear as to why you chose that as the platform to do the research on.
I wanted to see real people's explanation. I wanted to see people that lived in Lahaina.
Right. And that's what you explained to us, and I thought
Yep.
that was a very valid point, is
Yep.
that I wanted to see actual videos
Mhm.
posted by actual people.
I didn't want the big name media company. I didn't want that at all. I
Right.
wanted I wanted raw footage.
Well, and I think in times like this, when things like this happen, that kind of social media thing is a very valid way to look into that
Yes.
kind of because again, you're not getting the doctored videos or the things that people
No.
want you to see.
No,
It's
the
just
fear that you could hear in people's voices and things like that as they were trying to escape them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
it's scary. It's scary. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I'm glad I probably will never have to imagine, and that's fantastic
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
Social media has made it so that the big corporations can't push their agenda just ad hoc. They actually have there's people watching now, and they're
Yeah.
putting
Mhm.
it out there, and it's getting out there for everybody to see, and we need more of that.
Well, I think
you
that's
know,
a good
it's-
side of social media. There's a
Mhm.
good and a bad
Oh,
side.
there,
to
of course, is a
everything.
bad side because we talked about that, I think, or in AI, but we will if
Yeah.
we haven't.
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's insane that there's I don't know, there's a lot of stories, and there's some people on the ground that have some conspiracy theories on what's going on, and the thing of it is, like, yeah, I think the internet ran with it a little bit, but there's people with their own videos showing some crazy stuff that happened during those few days, and
Well, and so what would we say? Because again, you guys did far more research than me or Aaron did. What would you say is the leading? Let's just say theory, because I don't think anything's a conspiracy theory at this point. I think there's a lot of information that'll end up coming out. So,
Well,
just what's the leading? Let's say alternate theory opposed
as
to
opposed
Like
to
for
the
real?
opposed to the telephone lines
No,
coming
no.
down and
it's
power lines.
so the official story and whatever is the lines coming down and lighting stuff on fire, high winds, and all of that. So if that isn't what truly happened or took place, what's the leading alternate theory that may have happened?
So,
And if there's more than one, that's fine too. Let's just kind of sort them out.
what
one
I
at a
got
time.
into was X-ray weapons,
Okay.
and I know
That seems like a big jump.
It
I'm
sounds
just
like
saying.
it sounds insane, but
Laser.
and maybe it was an X-ray, CO2 laser. There's all kinds of different lasers they can use. This stuff's already been scientifically proven to work. You can use a laser to raise room temperature water to 100,000 degrees Celsius in a thousandth of a nanosecond,
Thousandth of
millionth of a second.
which is just
So-
incomprehensible. Yeah.
We have that technology.
Yes.
The fact that it burned, how it burned, leaves a lot of questions to be answered.
Okay.
Why cars on a street next to the ocean? No vegetation really there. Sure, the houses were on fire maybe across the street, but why are these cars melted? Why are their wheels melted and the engine blocks melted? I've seen car fires. I work on cars for a living.
We've had
It takes-
car fires.
It takes
in our shop.
1,200 degrees to melt aluminum.
Mhm.
It takes 2,200 degrees to melt cast iron.
And we're talking about fully
How are these
melted
cars
down.
melted from a forest fire? How does that happen?
Forest fire going to the road.
It doesn't make any sense for it to even go that far. It would have stopped.
'Cause then it goes
Some
under
buildings
rocks.
were untouched. And one of the craziest things was, you mentioned this, there's blue umbrellas on this one resort area or whatever it was, maybe a cafe, I don't know. You can't tell. It's just charred ruins. Everything's charred. The building's burnt, the cars are burnt, everything's burnt. And there's 4 blue umbrellas that aren't even sooty. They're not touched at all. There's a blue car. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
just weird. I think this is some conspiracy bullshit. But then I delved a little bit deeper. It's very interesting that X-ray shields, the ones they use for your X-ray machines and stuff like that, a lot of times those are blue. I'm not exactly sure why that is.
Well, I was going to say, I think that would be the one other thing that, and I'm sure we didn't, but the other thing to look into was just because it's blue doesn't make it an
It's
X-ray
lead.
anything.
What's
Right.
that?
It's lead. that
No, I
blocks
understand that they
X-ray,
are lead
but-
curtains or whatever. But
Yeah.
it just, I found it very weird that
It's strange.
And the
Blue.
I couldn't find any direct data that said the color blue protects from X-ray. It
Sure.
Or
just
the color
noticed-
blue is like an unhittable target.
No, but
It's
if
a theory.
if you're
You know
using-
what, though? That's not a bad thought. If you had to, mark friendlies or whatever you want to, things you don't want to destroy, what's the easiest way to do that? What's one of the lowest cars? And actually, I was talking about this with my youngest son today, is he's like, I want a blue car because you really don't see any blue cars around. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of one of the rarer colors of car if you think about it. And so stuff like that, like if you were going to mark it with something,
and then there
it'd
was
be
the,
easy to make it a color.
and then there was the Simpsons episode.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
with the laser.
Really?
did you see that
I
one?
did.
Have you guys not seen this one?
I have-
Which year did this one come out?
So I can't recall.
There's an era where I stopped watching The Simpsons.
I don't remember exactly when this was, but there was a Simpsons episode where they used a death ray
Yep.
on the town to burn the town, was burning this and burning that. It was funny as shit the way
Mhm.
they did it,
Well, it's
But the mayor was speaking at the end of it, and behind him was a tree wrapped in a blue tarp.
Was it the tree or was it the monument?
Maybe it was a monument.
think it
there was
was like
something
the
wrapped in a
laser
blue
thing.
tarp
Fucking
in the
Simpsons.
Simpsons episode.
and they've been
course,
known
dude.
to.
They
So,
always
I'm
do
just
this.
saying that's kind of weird. Not only that, but I heard Jeff Bezos hired firefighters to actually stay on his property days before the fire actually started. That's weird.
Well,
What's the source of that?
Random internet shit, man. I mean, it's all over.
Can it be vetted?
As much as I vetted it,
I would
mean,
think that someone like Jeff Bezos would probably have firefighters.
it does
like, on his
sound
payroll.
true, though.
But
It's
he was far enough back.
maybe it was a coincidence.
Well,
Maybe, but
I was gonna say, if
Oprah,
you're-
Oprah lives there too. I
Yeah,
just find
Oprah-
it.
Fucking Oprah lives everywhere.
if you're one of those people, though, with unlimited funds and you think there's going to be a fire hazard, you might just hire these guys. And if it's wasted money, it's wasted money, but it's protecting your $1 billion property.
Mm.
That's worth wasting some
And
money.
that's one way to look at it.
So I'm just throwing the other,
You could be
Yeah.
like, this guy's completely innocent and he's not nefarious at all.
well,
or-
that's not what I
or-
said.
or-
I mean, the guy built a dick-shaped
He
space
did.
shuttle.
Yeah.
He did. He is Dr. Evil.
Oh, he
Like, there's
definitely
no-
is.
No person has ever
Yeah.
come that close to actually being Dr.
One of
No.
the
He's
people,
even bald, for Christ's sake.
one of the people I really want to hear from about this whole Hawaii thing is Roseanne, since she lives in Hawaii.
I bet she'll have some things to say.
She's always got some things to say.
I'm interested.
Yeah, very much
I know
so.
that.
She owns a peanut farm.
Oh shit.
Maybe it's not a peanut farm. Maybe it's a pistachio farm. I don't know. She does something with nuts.
Some kind of exotic nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
That
is
seems like a
nuts.
Roseanne thing to
I
do.
bet she does.
She's nuts.
Ideal and
She
exotic
admits
nut.
it. But yeah, she is an exotic nut. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, she is.
But I'm curious to what things she's gonna have to say about all this.
I think she'll have plenty.
You
I don't know.
But there's definitely I have some little of what I've seen is these people, these on the island, they were talking about these real estate people calling them, trying to buy that
Yeah.
that
Right.
land for cheap
Immediately.
immediately.
I don't even think the
that's-
fire had.
Oh, right away.
And
yeah.
the other interesting thing too is the chief of police was the captain of the police of Las Vegas when that whole Las Vegas shooting happened. The guy
Really?
that's-
I didn't
Yeah, no, I
realize
read
that.
that. I read that
So this
too.
guy just shows up.
Yeah, I
and-
read that
dude's
too.
there.
This guy
He's-
just
he's-
happened to be there as well. This
He's arresting
lizard.
people for asking. He doesn't want anyone to ask questions. People can't go back on their land.
Oh, he's the stuffer. He stuffs it.
He's
He stuffs
stuffing
it down.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People asking him questions. He's just walking,
And he's
whatever,
clearly good at
you
it
know?
because no one talks about the Las Vegas shit anymore.
No,
you
they
know,
don't.
and
Which
they-
is a very. I'm not going to get into that. That's a different episode,
Sure.
but that's a very
So-
sketchy surrounding.
So it goes a little deeper than that, though.
I think
because
Jason Aldean was in on it.
the Jason
But anyway,
Aldean was
yeah,
in.
of course he
No.
was. He was on stage,
Yeah?
and all of a sudden, "Try That in a Small Town" is the shittiest song I've ever heard in the last
Yeah, you hate
5
that
years.
song. I think you've brought it up in
Fucking
each
hate
of the
it.
last 5
So
episodes.
I like
I will
conspiracy
keep
theories,
bringing
but
it up.
I don't know if I buy
Fucking
that one.
dog shit. If a dog farted and sprayed diarrhea on the wall, that's better than that Jason Aldean
Alright.
song.
So you never
Gotcha.
grew up in a small town.
I did.
It's just the
But
song. We've
I
talked
grew
about
up
this.
here.
Yeah.
It's a small enough town.
Yeah.
He didn't grow up in a small
Go
town.
smaller.
This town was bigger. Oh, he Chabance or whatever.
No.
No,
For
he's-
sure. Right?
He's not saying that the song isn't like true into what it says. He just
Fair
I'm
enough.
talking
does
about
not
the,
like the song.
Good enough.
The message,
Yeah.
whatever. I get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, small towns don't put up with that shit. But the actual music quality of the
Oh.
song is dog shit.
Gotcha. Well, this
But anyway,
noted.
this
that's beyond the point of this
Yeah,
a little
episode.
bit.
Got off, which does make me want to mention though, if we're just kind of in the area of music, is the Oliver Anthony's. Have you
Yeah.
heard Richmond?
I
North
haven't
of
heard it
Richmond?
yet, but
That's
I-
actually a damn good song. That I was like, okay, I agree with the message, and I actually enjoy.
all on the left
song
is losing
itself.
their effing mind, saying he's this kind of Nazi dude or whatever
And if
because he gives a shit about the working man.
Well,
What's funny is all these government shills that are running around saying that these people have our best interests in mind.
well, no,
They're going to learn a real harsh reality one day,
You
whether
can
they
learn
like
it
it
with
or not.
what's going on in Hawaii, because how
Yep,
long did
yep.
it take
The
for
government does not
dementia
give a fuck.
in office to even say shit about it? And they asked him about
No
it. 2
comment.
days later, he had no
No
comment.
comment.
Dude can't even take an earpiece out of his fucking ear, man.
No, dude.
I worked for
So-
the government for 13 years.
So did Wade.
There's absolutely
fucking
nothing
CIA
that
plant.
the government ever
Exactly.
does that is in the best interest.
Fuck no.
No,
What
that's
is
not
it,
why
what is
they.
it
no.
Ronald
Never.
Reagan said? What is it? The 9 worst words you could hear is, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
absolutely
Even the
Absolutely
government doesn't
true.
know what the hell they're doing.
And fuck
No.
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 We
So
don't.
Hawaii?
We didn't know.
These people have been dealing with this shit for like 2 weeks now almost, and now they're like, we're gonna send in FEMA, we're gonna send in all of this stuff, and they're blocking other countries from donating money.
They're blocking their own people from coming into there
Exactly,
to
that
help them
too.
with any type of supplies or anything.
You
Which
got
is
like
insane.
South
That's what you
Korea.
would want.
You got, but they like we would rather take all this money and launder it through Ukraine so we can make all of the politicians richer and just let the people on Hawaii burn to death. Because
Well, and-
the fuck do we care about them?
You know
Right.
why they're doing it, though?
I don't. Tell me.
Is because they're trying to create a smart city. They want to use Lahaina as a test point. They figure the loss of life and property is probably going to be pretty minimal. It's a small town. They're not coming into American mainland and burning
Comparatively,
down
yeah.
Dallas. They
True.
burnt down a small town in Hawaii that
Pretty secluded.
probably
also.
within the next election cycle will be forgotten about pretty quickly. And they will try to build their smart city that they tried to build in Toronto. And the Toronto government shut it down. Google wants to build a fucking AI-run smart city. And they're
So is it-
going to do this. I promise you.
Was it like
One
the
place or another.
governorship of Toronto shut it down?
I think the
Because
government.
I have a feeling that what's the fucking guy the prime minister? of
No,
Canada?
Parliament shut it down, not Trudeau.
Trudeau,
Trudeau,
who
that's
is
the one,
not
yeah.
who is not Fidel Castro's illegitimate son. I'm not saying, you know, what I mean, he's
I'm not
definitely-
saying he is, but it sounds like you're
mean-
not saying he's not.
Well, I mean,
He was born
just
in
go
Kuwait.
look at the photos yourself and make your own determination. But anyway,
I'm gonna get his
that's
birth
something that
certificate.
he would totally be for. Trudeau.
Yeah, no, I think he
all about
was,
it.
and I think
So Parliament came.
I think
in
it was
and shut him
Google or
down.
somebody like that was
or the
setting
city
it up, so.
itself.
You
shut it down.
ever been? Is it like amaze you? Remember how Canada just like 20 years ago was like, you know, it's this friendly place and it was like pretty outstanding, and now it's just an absolute shithole where
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
priests can't even preach
No, I've heard that.
and get arrested.
I've heard things have changed quite a bit in the last decade or two.
well, I mean,
even here in America.
Well, yeah,
But Canada, I mean, it went downhill quicker.
quickly.
Canadians are coming to the United States for help.
Oh, they've been
It
doing
It
that
has never
forever.
happened before.
And
For your major
United-
surgeries, yeah,
Yeah.
they come to America.
Yeah.
And even in America,
we
the
go to
healthcare
we go
system
to
is
Mexico,
fucking dog shit.
but we go to Mexico to find the doctors that left the United States.
I thought we just go there for the fentanyl.
Oh,
Oh, that just comes out.
Not
No,
that-
it
yeah,
comes
that-
to
that
us.
was
Yeah, it's
nasty.
delivered.
But
I-
no,
It'll be
I
all
our
always
fine.
doctors
carry
have
some
moved
fentanyl.
there.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
you got
I've
to.
heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of doctors. When you go to do certain procedures, even cancer treatments are huge down in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because they're cheaper
dentist.
and they work.
No,
But-
I
It's
know
not just
that's true
plastic
because I
surgery
just
anymore.
saw a thing this week that said, "Be careful getting your drugs from Mexico because they could be laced with deadly things." Blah blah blah. Don't go there for your drugs. And I'm like, that sounds like big pharma being like, we know
Mhm.
we're losing money to Mexico. We got to come up with something.
We need a story.
Just like this is going to be a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Look at they're burning down whole cities.
Exactly.
Okay,
Because they
but
weren't vaxxed.
so circling back to the Hawaii thing. So here's one thing I want to know, and maybe you guys have an answer, maybe you don't. Maybe we could just discuss it.
I don't have any answers, just thoughts.
Okay, no, that's fine. Perfect. So let's say we have the mainstream media reports of what is going on there, what happened there, and then we have, which I would consider, maybe some don't consider it this way, but I would consider a large leap to like
Oh yeah.
space weapons and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
My thought would be, I don't think these guys are right down here with the mainstream media reporting. I'm a little critical of like the space weapons thing, just because it seems like a big leap. But somewhere in there is probably the truth, right? Somewhere in the middle there is probably what actually went. Like, wouldn't it be easier? I'm just saying, because I totally believe in the land grab, right, theory.
For sure.
Totally believe that. But I mean, there's probably easier ways to fake a fire and burn a city down than having to contract through the military and space lasers.
Well,
and
so
stuff
what
like
I
that.
think,
But I mean, do you understand what I'm
I
saying?
kind of have my own version of an opinion here. So what I
Okay.
think happened is Bezos and Winfrey, they got into some gambling debt with Putin, so they owe him. And Putin's kind of a ruthless dude. And I kind of was.
I'm not sure this
I
is in
think-
between those.
I think he was. It's definitely.
Okay.
I think he was like, hey, I want Lahaina, and they were like, hey, you can have Lahaina, just don't burn our shit down, and we'll cover for you, and we'll make it about some power lines or something. And Putin is going to build the new Lahaina, because it's always the fucking Russians,
Dude,
So I'm gonna.
you're just tugging at my heartstrings.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
okay.
you know I hate the fucking Russians.
I
I'm
know.
gonna
I
circle
know.
back around with the Maui Times. I believe it was
Maui.
Maui Times.
Go ahead.
There was a reporter from there, I believe, and she was actually shut down for trying to report actual facts. And this was
I heard
your
that.
actual
Just digging and finding these
I heard
facts.
that.
correct, just
Yeah.
being there in the present state, and they were shutting her down for showing things
There's
that
some
were
hush
actually
hush
going
shit
on.
going on.
Yeah.
I totally understand. I
When
totally
you
believe
shut up
that.
people that are going through the shit,
Yeah.
and you
They-
you limit those people's voices, what other determination are you going to make from that?
There's
right.
a YouTuber that
I mean,
actually not YouTuber, TikTok. Her TikTok was removed. She is no longer able to say anything on that.
To talk.
Yeah,
that one.
I mean, obviously.
And so she had to start another one to get her message across.
Did I ever tell you? Okay, sorry, total side note. Did I ever tell you my idea of an all Native American social media platform? I'd name it Talk. That's all. Continue, sorry.
That's all I had.
Anyway, that one didn't land. We'll cut that.
This kind of out of the
He's a
blue.
dad.
It was very
He is
out
a
of the
dad.
blue.
It
He is
was
a
a total
dad,
bad
you know
joke.
what I mean?
Oh, that's an old one too.
My
but
my jokes are much more morose and disgusting, but that's very dad jokey.
hey, man,
You are a dad.
So I
Well,
have to ask you guys
Congratulations.
on the emergency management stuff. Like, we are accustomed to tornado sirens.
Yeah.
Yes.
When it comes to things in Hawaii,
Yeah,
they're
nothing.
used to the tsunami siren.
Okay.
In which they said that, hey, you know what, if we did those, that people would go more inland. I'm sorry, but if you've watched any videos from this, you know that these people are not going to go towards the fire.
All right.
Well, you could be like, we didn't want them to run inland, but I mean, now you're just like, they're idiots and they're just going to run towards the fire because
Do their eyes not work?
Right.
I mean, sound
Yeah.
a siren, let people know that this is an
Yeah.
emergent type.
Yeah, and I don't know how that
Thing.
exactly works there. I understand
then-
exactly what
What
you're
I
saying.
But
read-
then you know that the emergency management agency the administrator actually resigned
Yeah,
right away.
Yeah. that happened.
What does that tell you?
Oh, he
Here's-
doesn't want nothing to
Oh,
do with this.
He got
Yeah.
no. He got what do they call it? Like reassigned. He's not with them. He's not fired. He didn't resign. He got reassigned to another
different
area
department.
because they don't want the concentration on that. They want to concentrate on the on the survivors and what we need to do. So they basically moved him so he wasn't available to be
Questioned.
Yeah.
No, not available for questioning.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Government at its finest.
So what town was this in Wyoming where they just evacuated 20,000 people out of?
So I just caught a little bit of that when I was delving into this. And I
Yeah,
never
so
really read into it.
there's fires going on in Montana, Wyoming, of course California always has a fire. Louisiana, Florida, Houston, yeah, 3/4 of
Washington,
Texas, yeah.
Oregon.
There you go, Oregon. There's
All on the
these
same day.
fires. Yeah, what's
That's
going on
interesting.
there? Some Darth Vader shit.
Maybe.
I'm just saying they started developing X-ray lasers in like the 60s and 70s, so it's not like it'd be
Oh, and that shit's out there.
unfathomable to believe that they couldn't use that.
But
And
the other flip side of this though is they're saying this is climate change.
yeah,
Well,
it's all
and that's just
climate
fucking-
change.
It's
Every time
all
something happens,
climate
they
change.
start yelling
Fucking
climate change.
climate
That's
change.
fucking stupid.
Shark bit
I
a
know
bitch's
it is.
leg. It's climate change.
That's
what
not
the
even-
fuck are we
that's
During a
talking about?
hurricane, they started the fire. When
But
the
they
winds were up.
they actually found, they took they did take some of these ice core samples going back 8,000 years ago, and they ended up finding that there was more greenhouse gas 7,000 or 8,000 years ago than there is now.
Yeah.
And the temperature back then was higher than it is now.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because the climate changes on the Earth. There's always changes.
Yeah.
One volcano can change our whole fucking world like
Exactly,
that.
but at the same time, it's like now you live in the Midwest. So you have winter, spring, summer, and fall. These fuckers are like, oh shit, it's 96 degrees today, and it was 77 yesterday. It's
Welcome to the
Climate
climate
change.
change,
Right.
No.
Yeah, no,
Welcome to the
weather
Midwest.
or
No
weather
shit,
systems.
though. But I'm
Correct.
just saying, it's like they're taking any little bait they can.
If it's 97
trying to-
degrees in December, I'll
Think about
listen.
tomorrow. It's gonna be hot as fuck here tomorrow and the rest of the week.
Well, and here's the thing, though.
Beautiful
Here's
today.
the thing that a lot of people don't think about because we're humans and we're arrogant and we just think that even though we know it's not true that the whole universe revolves around us, right? We go, oh, it's climate change. The Earth's atmosphere and stuff is changing. Yada yada. It's got to be something we're doing.
Like,
We
it
got to
does
be causing that.
daily. It changes fucking daily.
But the thing is, what nobody really talks about, and I'm sure somebody does, but I'm not aware of their quotes, is sun cycles. The sun, which
True.
is the number one driver of
Yes.
everything here, including
Yes.
life. I mean, you name it, the
Yeah.
sun's in charge of it.
yeah,
It goes through cycles of hot, cold,
true.
letting off more radiation and
You
heat,
also
letting off
have
less
to-
radiation, getting brighter, getting dimmer, all that stuff. If you don't think that the sun's cycle has anything to do, more to do
Well,
with
yeah,
the
I mean,
climate here,
that's
then
a
we
part
can't
of it.
ever hope
But
to achieve.
Also, our rotation around the sun isn't just a perfect circle.
Correct. No, we're close. We're actually
We're
closer during the
elliptical.
winter.
And we wobble.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, they
That-
get that wibble wobble. Yeah,
that rotation
right.
is never the same twice.
right.
Exactly.
But talk to a somebody that studies the sun for a living, and I bet you they'd tell you like, yeah, it's been warming, or
We
it's
need
been
to shut him
brightening,
up.
or it's
we need to shut him up.
That's the thing is you wouldn't be able to talk to
Well,
him
because then you
they'd be
can't
like, no,
charge
no,
for carbon credits.
Oh shit! You
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh no! Shut him up! It's Hillary Clinton. Him.
Yeah, and
He's done for.
if climate change was real and humans were contributing to it, and the government was seriously concerned about it, they would probably not burn entire towns down with fucking X-rays.
Well, because
Right.
But
and
they did.
just
Yeah.
fire
No
like
shit, dude. I mean,
fires
that's what
on a
I'm
large
leaning
scale
towards.
seem bad for the environment to start with. So
Yeah.
let's
That's
take.
a part of how Earth is. Like you said, volcanoes. I mean, that's
Yeah.
all.
Oh, it
part
takes
of
one
the-
and you fuck the whole place up.
It's an
Yeah.
evolution.
But does it actually? I mean,
Yes.
it fucks the whole place up.
Mhm.
But what does it do, though? I mean, it kind of
It
you know,
regrows.
right?
There's new life
You
that
have
comes
to do
from
that.
it.
What did the Native Americans used to do? They used to burn fields.
We still
did
do
they-
around here.
Yeah.
Oh, because it grows
Well,
so
We
much
burn our
better.
ditches.
Yeah,
It comes back
Oh,
so
yeah.
much better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, but
Not to say that that's what you do with neighborhoods, but
no,
No.
that's-
no,
yeah.
No.
absolutely.
No.
fields, yes.
No, but they always say I love when I hear something about climate change and they're like hottest year yet in recorded history or recorded history.
Like,
Like,
last year was hot.
that was 150 years. We're talking billions here,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah, yeah.
and you're worried about what happened in the last 150? Oh
Yeah.
my God,
No, that's a human trait to
Come on.
look at
arrogance, human
the
arrogance.
time scale of their life and feel like it's a long period of time. It's nothing when you're talking about
Blink of an eye, no one cares.
world sizes,
No one cares.
universe
But
size,
it's
you know,
also-
solar system size. It's nothing. Our lives are
Oh,
dust.
two
No shit.
generations, no one will talk about you
No.
anymore.
No.
Why do you think it's any different from any
It's
of these other
also
people?
it's also like the point that the government uses to try and take complete utter control.
Oh,
They
yeah.
want everything to go green. How's that gonna fucking work, man? Have you seen what happens with these cars? You ever seen a Tesla on fire?
Yeah.
See these people put it out and the damn thing come back.
Now I understand that
Okay.
melting some wheels, but I don't understand
Right.
just a car catching on
Oh
fire.
yeah,
melting
just
the
your
wheels,
normal
melting-
everyday
it's
Datsun catching on fire and melting.
all too much.
No, I don't
Yep.
get that. There's
So-
a lot of crazy shit going on, man.
I totally agree. So let's circle back around and try to wrap up this Hawaii thing a little bit. Yeah, again, I'm not so sure that and again, you guys have done far more research, and I love conspiracy theories, and they're great, but I tend to be a skeptic when it comes to the true conspiracy theories and try to find a little more reason than that. So again, I lie in somewhere in the middle. I don't know about you guys. I mean, what's your ultimate? I mean, what you really think is going on with this?
Something's going on.
Definitely
man.
a land grab, right?
I mean,
it has to be.
it's not cut and dry the way that they're trying to make it. I'm sure winds and shit has something to do with it, but I feel like, we have meteorologists, they know, hey, this is when you want to do it.
Well, and the wind's right. The
Because,
wind's going to
yeah,
be like
In
now's a
3
good
days,
time.
in 3 days, it's gonna be 78-mile-an-hour winds. Put your blue umbrellas up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Y'all have invested in this money. We built this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's light it up. I mean, obviously, it's not cut and dry the way they're trying to play it off as, and it never is. It never is, man. Just look at the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
No, it's never cut and dry. I mean, you guys agree with that? I mean, yeah.
Well, I don't know if you
Anything
guys have
else
ever
to
been
add?
to like a third world type country.
I have not left.
Have you been to Kankakee?
I've been to Belize, which is worse than Kansas.
Okay, I've not left the
I don't
United
know.
States,
That's
and no
debatable.
plans
It's worse.
to.
I know.
It's worse.
I just fucking wait.
You figure you're gonna grab and like you're saying land grab unscathed land that has been preserved for centuries.
Well, you don't have to pay to tear it down now, do you?
You don't.
Maybe
And
clear
this
some
is
stuff.
something that these
but-
people have lived off their whole entire lives. To what?
Right.
To build something bigger, to boost some famous person's
Ego,
wealth,
stroking ego.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were saying the average home in like the Maui area, which I know Maui was not as hit as Lahaina, but $1.2 to $1.3 million.
Oh, it's not cheap to live up.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're spending that much money to live somewhere where you're on limited resources.
Mhm.
What's going on?
Well, I think we'll have a real good idea in about 10 years exactly
Mhm.
how this thing builds back and how quickly it builds back. Because they're talking decades. If these people just go in, rebuild their houses up, and rebuild the community,
I'd build a tent.
they're talking decades.
So I would really
I'd go
like to
underground.
believe that this was a
Unfortunately,
complete freak of nature,
naturally
accident,
and unfortunate. Yep.
horribly unfortunate accident. Because you got to have a little bit of hope that man isn't that evil. However,
it's
I'm
getting harder and harder to
very-
believe
like
that.
you might be skeptical that there is a conspiracy theory. I am very skeptical that there's not.
Okay,
that-
that's fair enough.
And like you said, at least a land grab. If nothing else, I'm not. Maybe it was manufactured. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they let it go, even though it wasn't manufactured.
They went, this could
Maybe
work
it was
out.
fucking X-rays. Maybe it was aliens. Maybe Oprah, her own ass, was out there with a laser gun just frying everything. Was it
Maybe she's
She's
positive?
pretty
retarded.
stone faced all the time.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
notice when
I
that
don't
woman
know.
talks
Oh, yeah.
anymore,
Well,
Yeah.
But
she's
to be fair, if it was Oprah, there was a bunch of other people out there because she was like, you get a laser gun, you get a laser gun, you get a laser gun.
Could be she just farted and this whole thing started.
Yeah, oh, yeah, right out.
So
on gas.
Oprah Winfrey
But-
fart.
Yep.
But this is horrible either way. I looked for good places to make donations, and it's so hard
They're not
to
giving.
sort
I had that
through
same
the
thought.
bullshit.
Yeah.
If you can find a place that you trust, make donations.
Make a
These people
donation.
lost
These people need it.
everything.
Yeah. No,
And
they
if
absolutely.
find somebody personally that resides there
Right.
and
You-
figure
it's
out
almost
how to
how
get
you
it
have
to
to do it.
them.
You would have to.
Yeah.
Yep.
because
Facebook or something like actually
Yeah.
get in touch, but then you got to vet them to make sure they're not a fucking
Correct.
bot.
And that, or they're not just grabbing money and
No.
being like,
There's
no,
a couple
donate
people
it.
that I researched.
Be careful with
that
your money,
seems
folks.
They're
Yeah, no
pretty
shit.
genuine.
Yep.
And yeah, they're the ones that were stopped on certain.
On
social
speaking
media.
about the stuff.
Just people are asking money to help me in my Hawaii fire, and then now you're fucking subscribed to someone's OnlyFans. You
Yeah.
just don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, there's good causes out there.
There
but
is.
you
And
just
I
gotta make
would
sure.
ask that, yeah, people that have the means to do so, reach out and try to find those. Again, you're going to have to do
Absolutely.
your own research to do that. I think we're as confused as we ever have been. If any of you guys, any of you viewers or listeners have any ideas or thoughts or theories on what happened here or whatever,
Oh, yeah, let
please
us
drop
know.
a comment, leave a comment. We might revisit this.
You know,
Anybody
in
on the
Hawaii,
ground has a story?
Yeah.
Like if you were there, we would love to hear it.
Leave it. You can hit us up in the email that's in our description. You can just leave a comment on the video if that's easier for you, whatever you want to do. But I know we barely covered any of this, and we could do a 12-hour podcast just on this subject. I think we should wrap it up here, boys
Yeah.
Yeah.
and lady. Sorry, I didn't mean to not
Good.
be inclusive or misgender you. So anyway,
Bro.
so we'll see you guys
Bro.
next time.
My dang old truck, my dang old pickup truck, and my dog. Who hit my wife?